the lines between work and personal lives have continued to become blurred to the extent that it is really, really difficult to separate work from personal lives. And I think as HR leaders and HR professionals, it's our responsibility to come up with policies that protects the mental health of our employees, to ensure that employees are not actually engaged to work outside of the normal working hours. We've seen a lot of organizations post-COVID that have responded to this problem, especially in Europe. And we've seen a lot of legislations around saying that employers or managers that contact employees after work hours would actually be charged to court, and they are likely to be jailed up to a maximum of 2 years imprisonment. These are crimes, an environment that places a lot of value on the mental health and the balance around the way work is done today. And so what is my special recommendation every time I am asked about how to create this balance? I think the whole lot still lies on how work is organized in organizations. And HR really needs to also be comfortable with the use of technology as an enabler of work for employees. When employees are able to separate the tools that they use to get work done from the work that they do, then HR and technology have not really done its work. What technology should do is to enable employees to make the most of their working hours. And so if you have a proper structure in your organization, for example, to ensure that you can have visibility into what employees do during their work hours, there will be no need to trouble them after the work hours is gone. I'll specifically make an example of how we are actually enabling this in my own organization. For example, what we have literally done is to ensure that all our workplace application tools are actually connected together on Google Suites, and those that are not on Google Suites are actually connected with APIs, where employees can actually pin these tools on their desktop wherever they are working from around the world. Google Sheets, for example, I manage operations across 6 countries today, but I don't have to be in all the 6 countries, many cities at the same time. However, I am able to understand what everyone is doing at every point in time. So what happens? We set what are the key drivers of the business, identify the results and the outcomes that I want to see every hour. For my sales team, once they have the Google Sheets, they are able to populate the sales they are doing by the minute into that sheet. That sheet is populated into Data Studio. Data Studio automatically publishes it into Power BI. And because Power BI is both designed by Microsoft, just like you have the Microsoft Excel, Google Sheet becomes a ready tool for you to actually get some of this information on the go. And as this information is published on the Power BI, I'm able to see what employees are doing per minute. So if you have 15 member employee in your teams, irrespective of where they're working from, you can easily see all the 15 working on the sheet at the same time. And if anyone goes idle, you are able to see and call attention to it. For some of the guys that are using 3CX to work in the telesales team, if an employee is idle for 5 minutes, you are able to easily see. Don't also forget, this remote work that we talk about is also to give people some sense of comfort and relief, whichever way it is. But the contrary is what we're experiencing today, where employees are saying, I rather work from the office, because each time I work from home, I'm having to overwork myself. But if an employee wants to watch Netflix or watch something on YouTube during work hours just to lighten up, there are still some other tools that you can actually use to call their attention back to work without having to be breathing down on their necks, really. So my postulation is that rather than pushing work to these employees after work, prioritizing them on Sunday, on Saturdays, when they are actually not supposed to be working, have the courage, the discipline, and the professionalism to give them tools that enables them to do this work and ensure that you are able to monitor that this work is being done in the way that it should be done throughout the work day. And I think the last layer of it is also training managers on how to manage remote teams. A lot of our managers don't really know how to manage remote teams. What has really shifted is where the work is done. But the mindset shift that needs to change on how to manage those who are working in a distributed fashion, remote fashion, has actually not changed. So if you are giving an instruction to an employee who is working remotely, you need to be trained as a manager on how to pass on that information in a way that your subordinate you are giving that instruction to understands it in the way you intended. Unlike when the employee is on site with you, where you can easily walk to his desk to seek common understanding and clarity that we're on the same page. You are not able to do that when the employee is not physically present with you. So being able to train your managers on how to manage remote teams, how to give instructions, how to give feedback, how to coach is also a very important element of this. And as we continue to train our managers and leaders, you will suddenly begin to discover that this issue of work-life balance begins to become part of the reality of the new ways of working.